All right, hello, and welcome to the fourth episode of the Wind Out podcast. So, today I'm very excited to introduce Jouri Hindi, a content creator and bioengineering student at the University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign. So, Jouri, thank you for joining us today, and please feel free to introduce yourself.
Of course, thank you for having me. Hello, everyone. I'm Jouri Hindi, a freshman at University of Illinois, studying bioengineering as well as a content creator and I wouldn't say influencer, but I enjoy creating content. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. And for those of you who are new to the podcast, I'm Juman, a student based in North Carolina. So, let's go ahead and get started. So, Judy, I'd really like to start with the beginning of your journey. So, could you share some moments or experiences from your childhood that really shaped your love for bioengineering?
Course. So I wasn't sure from early on that I would go specifically into bioengineering, but I've definitely known that whatever I would do growing up would be STEM related, science related. I've gone with my mom, who's a pediatrician, to work a lot. So I've visited the hospital and I've seen how she works and how she helps people. And I've just grown up knowing that I would hopefully be doing something that would have a lot of impact. And then in school, I would enjoy mainly STEM, science, and math classes. I feel like those were what intrigued me the most and I would excel at. So I feel like those moments when I was younger, seeing how I was so curious about specific things, I even remember my dad once saying when we were in the car, I asked him this question that still sticks with me today. I asked him, why does the moon follow us? And like as we were driving around, obviously it doesn't follow us, but that was just curious young me. So he kept telling me that just stay curious. So I felt like ever since I was younger, I've known that I would go into something STEM related. So I feel like that kind of shaped me to be who I am today and choose STEM or bioengineering specifically.
And throughout your journey, did you have any mentors who helped you grow both personally and professionally?
Personally, I would say my aunt. Her name is Iman. She's helped me a lot. She helped me build my confidence as just a girl and evolving into a woman, and then just being me. And she's helped me to remind myself to stay unique and confident. And then professionally, I was in this program called MISC, and they basically help students study abroad and help us with applications and stuff. So I've had my mentor, his name was Mr. Sam Luby. He's helped me a lot, specifically with choosing University of Illinois, since as application season was coming up as a senior, I didn't even know which colleges I wanted to apply to, since it's pretty hard, to apply to more than a specific number of colleges, right? It's a pretty tedious process. So when I was narrowing it down, he added the University of Illinois to my list of colleges to apply to. And I didn't even know this college existed, right? But he was like, apply to it, it's pretty great for engineering. So I was like, sure, you know what? Why not? So I went ahead, I applied, he helped review my essays, and I got in miraculously. I'm really grateful for him just because if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't even know that this university existed. So I'm pretty grateful that he's helped shape me who I am professionally from that aspect. So I feel like my aunt helped me personally, and then my mentor, Mr. Sam Luby, helped me definitely professionally.
Thank you for sharing that. And talk to me about your undergrad bioengineering studies at UIUC. When did you decide to focus on this field and why are you so passionate about it?
So, as I mentioned, ever since I was kind of young, definitely known that I wanted to go into STEM and maybe something medical because of my visits to the hospital with my mom. And then pretty recently, about a year ago, last November, I'd say, I went to this. So basically, my senior year, I went to this conference in the capital of my country, Riyadh. It was called the Biotechnology Summit. So I've attended, and it was pretty interesting. It was like a 3 day conference, and it was really, really intriguing. Just learning about the up and coming devices and technology in the biofield. It was just it makes you so passionate about it just hearing other people talk about it so passionately. Like, even if you were not interested in this field specifically, you would still be really intrigued about what they were saying and how this field has a future no matter where you are in the world. So I feel like that summit helped kind of solidify my passion for STEM and then specifically biotechnology and bioengineering. So I feel like that helped me, be like, oh, this is what I want to do. So, and then here coming to the University of Illinois, it's a very, very good university for engineering, no matter what kind. And then they have some pretty good classes here. So I feel like just that summit and then reading more into the university, what they offer, how their programs are structured, I feel like that helped me decide, that this is what I want to continue doing.
And for current high school students who are currently, starting the college application process, what tips and tricks do you have that you used when you applied to colleges that ultimately led to your acceptance at UIUC?
So that's a very good question just because I asked that question a lot when I was a senior in high school. So I'd say one of my biggest tips, and I'm pretty grateful to say that I believe my college application experience wasn't as stressful as people make it seem. And I feel like what helped me make it as less stressful as possible was organizing everything by deadlines, priorities. I tried to arrange everything so that I put what was the most important first and then work my way down. I tried to, um, use the same essay for as many colleges as possible just because I know for some people writing multiple essays can be very tiring and they don't have those ideas, all the time, like idea juices flowing. So I feel like try to, make the most of it, try to stretch them out. I'd say it's a very stressful time no matter what, whether it's the application time or the process of waiting for results. But what I would say, like my biggest tip to seniors is just keep everything organized and then always keep this in mind where just know that everything works out and you're always going to end up where you're supposed to be. I didn't even know that, the University of Illinois existed up until I was applying and then suddenly I'm here, I just moved into my new dorm, about to start classes and stuff, my second semester. So everything works out. Just keep that in mind and just remember you'll always end up where you're supposed to be.
Thank you for sharing that. I'm sure many high school students will find that advice very helpful. Moving on to your content creation experience, can you tell me about your experiences working in this field?
So it was kind of something I've had ever since I was young. I've always loved making videos. I'd make those silly iMovie videos that I feel like a lot of people did with their siblings in their childhood. I was always the director or the producer, sometimes the actor. And then it grew into like creating short videos for YouTube, like room tours and stuff. Obviously, those videos are now deleted, but I've always had that like passion of creating videos and editing and being creative. So as I grew up, it kind of evolved into content creation, how people usually do it today, which is mainly TikTok, Instagram, short form videos. So I mainly started like focusing on creation in the end of 2023, which is when I was in 10th grade, maybe. It kind of started out with me feeling kind of embarrassed. I feel like a lot of people have that feeling, when they feel kind of embarrassed and they don't know if they should post or not. They're scared of feeling judged. And especially in my high school, it's not like a big high school. Like my high school class was 20 people, so we all knew each other and like it would be very easy for them to find my content basically. So I was really scared that they would judge me. And then I started posting and posting, and then I saw a lot of positive feedback, whether it's from my friends who I thought would judge me, but honestly, they were really supportive about it. And then more positive feedback from my sister's friends, my brother's little friends, and then like their sisters, and like it just became like this community, and you didn't expect it. You never expect this like to happen. So it's just like a passion I've had for a long time, and then you just have to get over that fear initially, I guess. And then I just continued, and as I mentioned, I wouldn't say I'm an influencer, definitely a content creator, but I've heard that before where people are like, "Oh my God, you're my favorite influencer." And it's so nice to have that community and have those people will always be by your side.
What are some key lessons that you drew from this experience?
So, some key lessons is content creation is not for the weak. No matter what you post, you'll always have people that will try to bring you down, no matter what it was. You could post the most positive, nicest video on the planet, and people will always have something to critique. I would say something to draw, or like a lesson to draw out of content creation or just in general in life, is just ignore those people, like just silence them out of your life, because no matter what you do, you people will always have something to say. So I just say my biggest lesson, my biggest takeaway from being a content creator is to just do what I do and do what I love to do, and always just ignore those who say otherwise.
And as you look towards your own future, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
So I still have a long road ahead of me academically here at UIUC. So I would say the next 3 years would still be me in university, hopefully evolving more as a person, whether it's personally, academically, socially, content creation wise. So I hope to see a lot of evolvement for myself, just becoming better and better in the next 3 years. And then after that, I also hope to pursue biotechnology academic wise, doing masters. So definitely there's a lot that's going to happen within the next 5 years. I do have like this kind of roadmap I'm seeing myself going through, which is within those 5 years, it's mostly academic, but there's also some big plans and projects I want to pursue after, I finish all the degrees I hope to achieve. So the next 5 years, I just say, is a lot of hopefully academic and personal success.
And what advice would you give the next generation who might be interested in pursuing bioengineering and content creation but might not know where to start? Are there any actionable steps that somebody could take after watching today's episode?
Um, Definitely do a lot of research, and I'm not just talking about like academic research. I'm talking about research into if this is the field you want to go into. There are a lot of specialties people can go into when they're going into bioengineering slash biomedical engineering. There's obviously cell and tissue engineering, there's pharmaceutical engineering, there's molecular and cellular engineering, there's nanoengineering. So there's a lot of fields you could go into with bioengineering. So I would say do a lot of research, see what you're really passionate about. Like for example, for me, as of now, I don't really enjoy the physics side of engineering, so I try to avoid, for example, mechanical side of bioengineering. So I definitely say just know what you like. Um, and then for content creation, I'd say just post the video, whether it's the video you have in your draft, whether it's the video you've been overthinking, just post it. You never know what might blow up and what might not. So just get over that first fence or over that first hurdle of being afraid, and just click post and just shut your phone, and that's like the first, I'd say, actionable step, because once it's done.
That's true. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. And if you could give advice to your younger self, what would you tell her?
I would say, oh, that's a very good question. I tell her that I've said this a lot, and I've said this to myself in senior year, but I would tell really, really young me that it will work out, that I'm the main character of my own story, to always just forget other people, in the sense that ignore their negativity, because I feel like people will always be negative in one way or another, no matter what environment you're in. Focus on the positive and just prioritize your family, your faith, and your studies, and that's really all that matters. So I definitely tell myself, my younger self, that just focus on the positive and be the main character of your own life.
And what are some of the most difficult parts of your work that nobody warns you about?
I'd say so far I'm only a freshman, so I wouldn't say there's a lot of difficulty. I'd say the most difficult part is being away from my family, I guess, like just studying abroad. I feel like that's the most difficult part, but academically, it's like I feel like we're just getting started. We're about to accelerate into what's difficult. So far, I'd say the hardest part is definitely being away from my family and doing everything independently and alone. And then content creation wise, I'd say it's just continuous posting. I've definitely had moments where I've not posted for a while, where I haven't taken it because I don't really see content creation as a job. I see it more as a passion. So there are definitely moments where I just haven't posted in a while, maybe a month or two. So I feel like just being consistent and kind of engaging with the audience you're trying to reach, and then also sometimes replying to messages because you get so many messages and so many DMs, especially when you make content in the way I do, where I make a lot of informative videos, for example, about certain opportunities or programs. You get a lot of questions about those opportunities and programs, so you just kind of try to answer everyone, um, because sometimes it's kind of difficult answer like 100 messages you get after posting one specific video. So I definitely say just trying to keep up with certain notifications and prioritize, especially messages with programs that have deadlines, for example. So definitely need better strategizing in that sense, especially being a student and a content creator. I feel like having everything balanced and organized would be best. So I feel like just balancing everything would be the most difficult problem in this situation or position I'm in, I guess.
And for everyone who's listening right now, what's one book or resource that you would like to recommend that has really helped you in your journey?
I feel like I actually just started reading this book, so I feel like, as we're stepping into this new year, everyone has these new goals and aspirations and what they want to do. So, this new book I've started is called Atomic Habits by James Clear. It's a pretty popular book, I'd say, but it's popular for a reason, I believe, just because when I started reading it, it's just so good, and you keep reading it, and he's like giving you examples of like historical, I'd say, contexts that fit into, you're kind of reading it and you're like, how does this relate to like building better habits? And then you're like, oh wait, this actually makes sense. And then, for example, he like mentioned like an example of how some people are, and then you're just like, that makes so much sense. I actually feel that way. So I just believe that Atomic Habits, it's such a great book. I'm only halfway through it as of now, but so far I feel like it's definitely helped me a lot with building better habits and balancing both my academic uh journey here at UIUC as well as being a content creator.
Thank you for sharing that. And as we come to the end of today's episode, is there anything else that you would like to share?
I would just say in general to anyone watching that just remember that you are the future. So just remember that what you do today is what leads to a better tomorrow. Just remember to always be positive, be kind. There's already so much negativity in the world. Your act of kindness, no matter how simple or how grand, could make someone's day. So just remember that in the end of the day, we're all just people, we're all just trying our best. And whether it's academically or just personally, you will always end up where you're supposed to be. So no matter how bad the situation think you are in as of now, just remember it's always like this. I always try to remember this quote, it's not a bad life, it's a bad day. So just always try to remember that. Keep yourself strong, be kind, and yeah, I feel like those are my words of wisdom. Of
Thank you for sharing that. All
course,
right,
thank you.
and I've asked you all the questions, so we've come to the end of today's episode. So thank you for joining us, Jouri.
Thank you so much for having me, and I had a great time.